All right, guys, Melissa here. I thought I'd do an update about how I'm doing, how things are going. I need to take a class after this. I've already taken one class. I need to take another class after working today. I am honing in skills in the restaurant business with my hospitality. And the weird thing about this is when you start learning more, you start seeing things that are not quite how they're supposed to be after. So, Sunday, my son and I went out to celebrate him buying a new car, buying his new car. It's not a new car, it's a used one. And we went out together and I'm like, what the what the heck is going on? This we were like half-hearted seated, I mean, from the host, and I'm like, okay, I am now training as a hostess and I'm seeing this very clearly. And then as I have tons of years of experience as a waitress, I'm like, we were sat and the waitress was just like, hi, like she didn't even want to be there and basically like threw our napkins down on the table. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Is this for real? And there was no like indulgent service. And that's what we're looking at now in the restaurant business. We're looking at indulging people because it's all about the experience now when people go out to eat. And when they go to your restaurant, you should be humbled and be able to thank them for coming because out of all the places and nowadays there's so many places to eat, right? Like when I was growing up in Epsom, New Hampshire, there was only like one place to eat in that town, and that was Billy's restaurant, and the pizza was like cardboard. We all used to kid about that. We used to kid about our rolls in school, uh, being as hard as hockey pucks. They were disgusting. But you ate what was on the table back then, and in school when you had school lunch. My family, we had free school lunch from me and my brother, and you ate whatever slop or grub they gave you, right? That's just the way it was. And you were lucky if you got to choose like one day a week whether to have chocolate milk or regular milk. But nowadays things are different, and they're very different, and people get to come into your place and you should be humbled by that and be glad that they're coming to see you. So as people are getting more creative, we're seeing that the what used to be acceptable, just hey, how are you, what can I get you, just being an order taker, just giving you your food isn't enough. And in order to survive with your skills, ladies, if you do the restaurant work, I mean, I have one job where it's just basic, welcome in, some hospitality, but my night job where the classes are needed, even with credit cards, the classes are needed now, which we didn't used to do this, but POS is definitely something people need to understand nowadays. And so you want to keep investing in your work skills because if you don't, you're going to get behind and you're not going to be able to be employable, right? And so my goal is like the next 10 years just to really save up a lot of money, and then I won't have to do the restaurant business. But I mean, because I love to work, I see myself working up until probably the day I die. um, if I live like 20, 30 more years, I will have enough to be like, okay, I am all set and I don't have to worry about money. I can put it aside in a savings and I don't have to worry about it. But right now, where I'm working, it's going to take probably a little longer to do that because I have goals too and I want to travel while I can. I don't want to be old and just like travel and not be able to enjoy it. I want to continue enjoying my life, as I'm young enough. So, see the difference, guys, where you eat, and make sure you're in a place that really, they really do appreciate you coming in. And it's not just, I don't really want to be here. And I was talking to somebody who was talking about this with me, and he's like, I don't know what's wrong with the young generation. They don't want to work. He's like, they come in, they want a paycheck. People want a paycheck, but they don't want to work. He's like, when I was growing up, if you were lazy, you were out the door, So that's the kind of mentality we want in the workforce, even if someone's not sitting at a table, you don't want to sit and buy dirty dishes, right? So those should be cleared. Um, we really need to be people who work hard. This person was telling me too, like, I mean, he was very old school and he was telling me some stories and he's like, even my daughter, one day she was acting really bad and I told her I was going to give her a whooping. And he's like, back in the day, you did that. He goes, nowadays we have school shootings. You didn't see school shootings back then. And I'm like, that's very true. You just didn't. And he goes, because kids are not brought up right. And guys, the reason why I say yes, spank your kids is because when they do get older, there is nothing you can do. Like I have a missing son right now. There's nothing I can do about it. Nothing at all except to trust God. And the same when your kids are, younger. I mean, the scripture says to spank your kids. And so he told his girl he was going to give her a whooping. And she said, I'm going to call the police if you do. And he goes, hold on a minute. And he called the police and he said, this is what's going on. I'm going to give my daughter a whooping. And they're like, yeah, let us know if you need some help or something. So this was over in Texas. So his daughter was in double trouble for that. And, we're just too soft as society. We are not hard enough on people. And especially the workforce, we're not expecting enough. And we need stronger old school thinking in the workforce so that, so our country can succeed, you know, and beat other countries basically. So when you do work, and I've worked off and on for years, but my family was my main job. Um, I have more time now to invest into my job. So make sure you are constantly learning, guys, constantly. Okay, thanks for joining me.